Pass the mic to a killer, he get the slaying. I'm Kakarot, all of my bros is Super Saiyan. We stacking blocks, protect the basket, you in the playing. We at the Mecca, hit the game winning shot like I'm Jalen. Manifesting energies, praying for my enemies. Taking vacays in the keys, working on our synergy. Changing up my wardrobe, never my identity. Smoke until I got a... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the God of Knicks podcast. I'm your host, Apollo Reed. I'm here with the cousin, Rick the Ruler. Cousin, how you feeling, man? How you doing, man? Talk to me.
Yo, how could I not feel good right now? Yo, let me tell you how good I feel. I walk y'all know I wear a different Knicks hat every single day, and just walking in the streets of New York. I mean, I'm not out in the streets like that, but anywhere I go, people they stop. People they stop and be like, "Yo, Knicks, right? Knicks and 5, right?" Yo, I'm telling you, I went to my father-in-law's house, and we was outside. His neighbor came across, his other neighbor came, and we were all talking Knicks. This little kid on a bike rolled by. He was just like, Knicks and 5. Yo, it's beautiful in New York right now. It's beautiful in New York. I feel great.
Oh my gosh, that's the one part about not being in New York that I definitely miss. You know what I'm saying? Is like, you know, just the interaction with a lot of Knicks fans. Every now and then out here, you'll find a Knicks fan that, you know, because, you know, it's obvious when you're a Knicks fan out here because it's like nobody wears these colors ever. But yeah, you know, it's every now and then you'll find somebody to have a conversation with, and it's cool, you know what I mean? But I do miss just having that random interaction, like with anybody, you know, on a regular basis. It's funny. We went on a cruise. My family and I went on a cruise like 2 weeks ago, and the dock was in Orlando. So when we came back, I'm wheeling my stuff to the car, and I see this guy. He has a Knicks jersey, like a Knicks shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay. They got the Knicks fans out here. So, you know, of course, you know, I'm moseying my way over there. You know what I mean? Just to say what up real quick. I was like, let's go Knicks, baby. We're going to take care of the Celtics. And he was like, I'm a Miami fan. This is a gift. I'm like, oh, come on.
Oh, my gosh.
Come on, man. I'm like, well, you got a better chance of wearing that jersey than the Miami jersey right now. But, you know what I'm saying? I definitely miss the interaction with the people. You know what I'm saying? But, shout out to the chat. Carbon Intellect is in there. You know what I'm saying? I see you, my guy. What's going on? Orange and blue, baby. Orange and blue. Porto, my boy Phil over at the Knicks Nightcap crew. My guy, man. That's my brother right there. What's going on, man?
That comment had me laughing.
Well, go live. Because I sent them the link. I'm like, yo, we about to go live. And then, of course, we was just having technical difficulties just now. Yeah. And, you know, because it's been forever since we did a daggone show, so it's cool, you know what I mean? It happens, but let's get into it, man. Let's talk Knicks. So where do we start? We can't even talk, like, we missed a lot since the last time we spoke. I don't like it'd only be right to start from the beginning of the playoffs, but nobody want to hear none of that right now. You know what I'm saying? If we're being honest. But the Knicks are up 3-1 versus the Boston Celtics in a season where everybody in media counted us out. I mean, not even media, just fans, everybody. They counted us out. They're saying like, oh, you guys don't have it. You guys don't have this. You didn't beat them at all this year. You're 0-10, and you know, they bring up the numbers and all of that, which, I mean, these are true things. We can't ignore those things. So I mean, it's a fact. But for us to turn around, especially to start off the series, I mean,
season.
Just the way that the Detroit series ended, it was like, you know, like, what can I say? Like, people had expectations of us, and they were kind of like solidified with the Detroit series. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's like, why are you even struggling with this team? Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the things there that a lot of people were going to at the end of the Detroit series. And, you know, it's easy to let that happen. You know, you start thinking, and it's like, yeah, this team is, but it was the way we ended that series, that last game, especially the shot by Brunson. crossing dude up to get an open shot to literally ice the game. Like that was, and shout out to Asar Thompson, an amazing defender. He's gonna be a really, really great player in this league. But shaking him off and ending the series the way we did, the way he did, it was the perfect way to enter us into what we're dealing with now. Because what people don't understand is that I feel like that series helped us get into, because Detroit didn't have anything else. They had Cade, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't really have anybody they could really depend on. So what they threw everything in the kitchen sink at us, but the kitchen sink at this point. So they would fight in, and the rest were letting it go. You know what I'm saying? And once we got used to that aggression and intensity,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, this is how we got to play. Let's do it. Let's do it from now on. And boy, that has carried on into this series, into the first two games. Oh, hold on. I think he's here now. I think he's here. There he is. My guy, Joe.
You good, man?
How you doing, man?
Good,
How you
fellas.
doing? It's good to see you again, man. Good to see you.
Thank you, man.
So,
It's been a minute. How we doing? What's the vibes?
Listen, man. The vibe. We're gonna lead up to it. We're gonna lead up to it because, I'm trying to bring everybody up to, why we feel the way we feel right now. And you know what I'm saying? It started with the Detroit series, as I was saying. And just being able to see what we did in the first two games. And now, everybody was pointing to, which are facts. The Celtics didn't hit shots. It's true. But I do think it was something that they weren't comfortable with. It was a defensive scheme that we came out with that we normally didn't do during the season, especially because we had Mitchell Robinson there with us, which is something that they didn't get to see. They didn't get to see us at full strength ever this entire season. So being able to have that in your back pocket going into the series and being able to switch and doing those different things, credit to Tibbs, man. Everybody wanted Tibbs' head at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't supposed to be here. We weren't supposed to be where we are right now with Tibbs. Yeah. So first two games we come out and they don't hit a shot. 25 for 100 the first two games from three, and that's their game. And Jason Tatum's like, I'm gonna stick with it. Talk to me how y'all felt, Rick. You first after the Knicks went up 2-0 and winning those games in the TD Garden.
How did I feel? All right.
What you said, Joe?
You got it right the first time, though.
Go ahead, Rick.
All right. So after game one, I would have to say, man, I was nervous. Going down 20, coming back and winning the game, I was just like, yo, we avoided something there. But then game two, we went down another 20. I was just like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. And then we were able to get the win again. And I'm just like, man, is this what we're going to have to keep doing every single night? Like, am I going to have a heart attack every single night that they play? So I don't know how I feel even now. Like, I still feel like it's not over yet. So, like, I don't want to celebrate too much. I am happy for what they have been able to do so far, going up 3-1 against a team that we haven't beaten in the regular season. I heard it all. The reason why y'all won is because of this. So the reason why y'all won is because of that. And I'm just like, we won. Yeah. Like, you can go in all the reasons why, but all those reasons put together is why we won. So you could say the Celtics missed shots. We missed shots. The Celtics, they're a better shooter, but we shot as well. So we got the W at the end of the game. So the excuses and explanations, all that doesn't mean anything because we won.
Yep, that's it. So, Joe, how about you? After the first two games, getting those wins and, like as you said, the fake garden, as you doubled down on, what was the vibes? How were you feeling? I know there was still some caution. You know what I mean? Like they don't play well on at home for some odd reason. So how were you feeling after that? After those first two wins?
I felt it was up 2-0.
Yeah, I think your mic is
Yeah,
kind of
you're,
messed
you're
up. Hold
breaking
on.
up a little bit.
It's choppy.
Hold on.
That was a little
Hold on.
vibrato there.
A little vibrato. Shout out to the chat. Fountain Prep. My boy Lex. He said
Perfect
F Tatum
Carolina.
perfect Carolina having that prayers up though.
Prayers up though.
Prayers up though. Prayers up though. You know what I mean? Much love to him. But how we feel about Boston, man. I don't how we feel about Boston stands. I didn't like it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw when it happened, Obi got the
Yeah.
breakaway dunk, and I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
OG.
gonna just lose
oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, so Obi got the breakaway dunk, and I was like, oh, let's go. And then when they turned back,
OG.
Did I say Obi?
Yeah. That was a time machine
Freudian
right
slip.
No foreshadowing. But anyway, OG got the breakaway dunk, and then once they showed the replay and they showed him like rolling on the floor, I was like, what happened? And then
there.
they showed what happened, and I said, oh, not like this,
Yeah.
not like this. Because you know what I'm saying, I figured they were gonna try to use some kind of excuse. Tatum, they could have came back, they were down 9, they could have came back. I'm like, yeah. I wanted it honest, but
Yeah.
fuck it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what happens, man. It happened to us last year. Nobody gave a damn that we had everybody hurt. People forget that Julius Randle didn't play a minute of playoff basketball last year.
Facts.
So you know what I mean? Like, it happens. It's part of the game. But Joe, yeah, talk to me about how you felt about after being up 2-0. You said you felt like you
Felt
was
like
up
you was
2-0.
up 2-0, bro. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the fuck. What they talking about, bro?
Right.
I mean, don't get it twisted. Like I watched those games and I had my concerns because I was thinking in my mind, I'm thinking the last time up until yesterday, the last time the Knicks had actually put together anything that even resembled a complete game was game 3 in Detroit.
Right.
So I was thinking, how are we going to sustain offense against the Celtics defense? Because we can't keep getting behind by 20.
Right.
And then these jokers went out and did what they did in game 3. And I was like, this is the shit I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you could win 4 times like this.
Yeah.
But I always had in the back of my mind, Jalen Brunson has not been good in this series.
Mm-hmm.
He's had good moments. He's had big moments. He's hit big shots. But he has not put together a game where he actually like played well. You know what I mean? Where he was actually efficient.
Yeah.
So Boston had their day in game 3 where they made shots, the shots that everybody was saying that they should have been making in games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right? They did what the Celtics do, right? They have some nights where they just go nuclear. But the Knicks and Jalen Brunson did what they do, right? Because we were yet to have our night until game 4, where Jalen Brunson was Jalen freaking Brunson.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know what he watched, what kind of they say they always gonna look at the film.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what game 5 holds. Boston looked like a figured out team.
Yeah. Well coached too.
Yep.
Boston looked figured out, bro. Jalen Brunson looked like he figured them out. He made every right read, bro. All night, bro.
All night long.
All night long. He picked them apart, bro. I mean, 39 points, 12 assists, 1 turnover.
One.
He scored 39 on what? 23 shots?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And how many free throws did he shoot? Probably 4?
Yeah, not much. Not much. I think they shot 12 free throws as a team.
So all the where's the free throw merchant at? I don't see him.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find this nigga for a while now.
Yeah, that's the other thing they were saying.
All I see is ethical buckets.
Yep. all that flopping, he's a flopper. Where is it?
Yo,
Mhm.
I haven't seen him flopping
Detroit.
since game 2 against
yeah,
Detroit. Really,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
when he was doing a little bit too much in that game, and you could tell that Detroit had kind of got in his head.
He took
Yeah.
25 shots. It's 25 shots. And he
39
did.
points on
Oh,
25
my
shots,
bad. My bad. He took 9 free throws, 7 for 9. He and
9 free throws.
now this
Didn't
is
even seem like it.
now speaking of the free throw merchant, I want to stay there really quick because that's something that I do want to touch on at some point a little bit more, but really quick, a quick caveat is Jalen Brunson shoots 7 and 9 free throws. He shoots 9 free throws. Then you got Cat who shot 1, Josh who shot 2.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Nobody else shot a free throw. Nobody
They,
at all.
they try to
So-
get Mitch there, but we played it right.
No, the crazy thing is they didn't even do the hack and Mitch yesterday because they
couldn't.
realized it wouldn't even make sense for them to do
Yeah,
that.
they really didn't have an opportunity to.
Yeah, they
Right.
couldn't.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
when the opportunity came up,
They took him out the game.
they
pulled
took
him
him
out.
out the game. They put Precious in.
Pulled him out the game.
Precious played like 40 seconds, and then they went right back to
And then
Mitch
they
when it
went
was
right
under
back
2
to Mitch.
minutes.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And listen, bro, it's you got to talk about like once again, you got to talk about Tom Thibodeau. You know what I mean? And how bad he is. And don't get me wrong, he frustrates the hell out of me sometimes too. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
Terrible coach.
You know what I
Terrible.
mean? Yeah, I hate him. I can't stand him. But I'm obviously joking. But I mean, there are things that frustrate me at the end of the day, always. But I give credit where it's due.
Still.
You know what I'm saying? I give credit where it's due.
Let me tell you something, bro. You're never gonna have a coach that you don't find some shit that
Some
frustrates
shit
you.
to talk. I mean, you're never gonna have a player. You know how many people I know. You know how many people in TFE hate fucking Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, bro. There's no perfect player,
What?
bro.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's some people who don't rock with him like that,
Who do not rock with Jalen?
or they might rock with him, but like they low key waiting for him to have a
Implode.
game where maybe he forces it a little bit too much because he does have those games,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it
and
happens.
then that's when they pounce, Ricky.
Yeah, that's when they and then they come out. Then this when you see the paragraph is like, oh man, this is gonna be fun, bro. I'm telling you, every night I've deleted the app. I deleted the Facebook app a long time ago. It's been almost a year. I don't, you know what I mean. I keep the messenger to keep in touch with you guys on, you know what I mean, what you call. But every now and then, I find myself, I guess through the app when you watch something on like a Facebook video, it still takes you to your page. So every now and then I'll peek into the bro, that message board is hilarious. Sometimes.
What is it that they don't like though? That he shoots too much, he doesn't pass enough. What like
Yo,
it doesn't matter.
He's the
Yo.
captain. Yo, if you listen to any of
all of the above, all of the above.
But if you listen to any of his teammates after the game, they're like, "Yo, that's the captain." You know, like whatever he wants to do, how
Ricky.
you know, yeah. Like, what's not to like at this point?
Yeah, Ricky, people, because you want to know what the problem is with a lot of basketball fans. A lot of basketball fans are still living in 1994, bro, where the point guard was like this pass first guy who got everybody involved. And like, no, this dude is a bucket. He's gonna shoot 25 times.
Right.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Deal with it. What I'm looking at is this dude is gonna shoot 25 times. Is he efficient? And you want to know something? He's incredibly efficient. He's not Trae Young, right? If he was Trae Young and he was shooting 40% from the field, I would hate him. I don't like players like that, bro. I can't get with Trae, bro. I think Trae is great, but I can't rock with Trae, bro. Because it's just too much emptiness. There's a lot of empty stats sometimes.
And and speaking of, there's a lot of people who would rather have Trae than Brunson, who are Knicks fans, which is
I don't know how somebody looks at a guy who shoots 49, 50% and a guy who shoots 40%, and they're like, yeah, I want that guy.
I don't know. So just checking out the chat. Shout out to RBL Basketball. Of course, my boy Raul. He's one of the ones I just put up there. I don't like Jalen Brunson because his beard doesn't connect. it's one of those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So, Chicken Princess Staples is dressed. This guy's funny. Michael Moose said Knicks versus the Pistons and Celtics in the regular season 1-7. Playoff
Facts.
7-3. It's a
Facts.
different game in
It's
the
a
postseason.
totally different game.
Talk
Yeah.
to him. Talk
Completely
to him, bro.
different game. Completely different game, bro. And you know, you're starting to see it, and you start to have confidence in it. Like now, when we get down, I don't get scared. You know what I mean? I get frustrated. Don't get me mad when I
Yeah.
see it. You know, a brain lapse play. Like you know, I'm a basketball guy. I'm going to say something, but
Mm.
I don't get scared anymore watching this team play when they get down. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So real quick, I have my guy from the KOT show family, Nigga Time show, my people. Lee Escobedo in the building. What's going on, my guy? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, man? Good to have you on. Good to have you on.
Salute, salute.
Salute.
Welcome.
What's up, brother? Good to be here, man.
Welcome.
Yeah, man. What's the vibes like? How you feeling after just after all of this right now? How you
You
feeling?
know, the vibes are immaculate, man. I started becoming a Knicks fan in 2002. I'm 39, but my early years, I wasn't into sports. I was into books. I was into theater. I was into art. The only sport I'm into is hoops. And I became a Knicks fan because my dad, who's from Long Island, grew up a Knicks fan, saw the first two championships. Always wanted me to eventually get into it, but it took me a while. Once I committed in 02, was a year right after the ECF.
Mhm.
So from that point on,
Bro, you have a rough ride, my guy.
been
You have
stuck in
a
there,
rough
though.
ride, my boy.
You stuck
You
in
know-
there, though.
year one, I was like, Antonio Medice, read up on him. I was like,
Right.
oh, it's about to be Stoudemire in
Hey,
New York, man.
Hey,
Howard
Lee,
Isley,
hey, listen,
Charlie
man.
Ward.
Cheers to you, brother, because at least we got to see the 90s and, you know, we got to see. I mean, you came in at the wrong time.
At the
Like,
worst time possible.
Right after I think it was that right after Ewan was gone and everybody
Facts.
it was over. It
Oh,
was
04, we made the playoffs, though. 04, we got swept by
We
the
did?
Nets.
And
yes.
Penny Hardaway balled his ass off. Him, Najee Muhammad, Kurt Thomas. They did everything on the floor. I'll
Yep.
always appreciate Penny Hardaway for
Yep.
how well he played and how awful Shannon Anderson played. I'll never forget that, man. But yeah, so I was like, Antonio Medice, let's go. Preseason injury destroys his knee. From that
Mhm.
point on, I've been stuck in the same frame of mind ever since, man. And that frame of mind is pain. Nothing but pain. The mellow years were uptick. Yo, we got KP. Oh, KP wants out. We trade him. Oh, we got Randall. Year two, thumbs down. I was like, well, I told my dad, will it ever be easy? I don't think it ever will be. Maybe it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, Lee, that's being a sports fan is pain, brother.
Yeah.
For sure,
it is.
especially a Knicks fan.
Yeah, especially
Especially a
a Knicks
Knicks fan.
Yeah.
But
especially a Knicks fan.
not anymore.
Yeah.
Now we're
It's
on
a
the
good
other
time.
side. We're on the other side of that, man. Here we are, 2025 Knicks, baby. The chip.
Yeah.
2025 Knicks. 2025 Knicks. So shout out to the chat, my guy. He's Steven Rodriguez. He said, "Man, ask my guy Bernard. I called Knicks over Celtics before this series. Is that true, Joe? Did he call it? Did he
Who
call
said
it?
that?
Steven Rodriguez.
He did.
He did. Salute to that.
Yeah, he
Salute.
did. You know, he did, and Harry did. But Harry don't count because Harry gonna always say Knicks, like no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what, he's gonna say
Like
Knicks.
Harry literally never believes the Knicks will ever lose.
Nah. He's like Dre. Dre's the same way. He's like,
The
nah, we
dude
gonna win.
he doesn't base anything in any kind of like history
Reality.
or logic or statistics, right? He does not have an analytical brain.
It's Knicks.
He gotta, you know what it is too though? He's a coach. So he gotta coach his brain, bro. And a coach always believes that his team has
win.
enough.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's why he could think the way he thinks. I can't think that way, right? I'm too analytical, bro. So for me, I'm looking at, okay, the Knicks are one of the worst teams defending the three. The Celtics could go nuclear from three. The Knicks offense struggles against teams that switch everything. How are we going to score against the Celtics, right? We've seen all this play out in the regular season. They're putting Drew Holiday on Karl Anthony Towns, and somehow it's working.
Right.
So now, fast forward to the postseason, I'm thinking we're on this collision course with this team. There's no way we beat them,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Because that's what the statistics tell me, bro. That's just how I think. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Just goes to
Numbers
show
back.
you. Just goes
Numbers
to
back.
show you how flawed stats are, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing is, you know, even myself, I had to take the analytical numbers out of it for a second. I'm like, are you a Knicks fan, and why are you a Knicks fan? What do you actually believe, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm always gonna look for the numbers, and I'm gonna side with what the numbers say. That's just how I am. You know what I'm saying? And if we're still winning, and you think the coach is ass, and we're winning, sorry, guess what? You're gonna have an ass coach if we're winning. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So the way I am, I look for what can I base my win on. And before the series, I just said, all right, what do you believe? What do you believe? Do you believe this team could beat this team? And if you do, why? Right? And I literally thought of the Jalen Brunson shot over Asad Thompson. I kid you not. That was literally all I thought about. And I said Knicks in 7. And I don't know if you saw it, Lee. I tweeted it out before the series even started. I said Knicks in 7. I don't know how I believed we were going to win. Nothing we've done all year told me we were going to win any of these games.
All right. So let's do this, Cat.
Yeah.
Let's send it around the panel.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought the Knicks could win this series, how did you think they could pull it off? I'm gonna start Ricky.
Yo, I'll tell you right now, I didn't think that we were going to win the series. I said
Knicks. But if you thought they could,
said if I thought they could, it would.
How would they do it?
It would be with defense. Like I feel like they would just have to shut the Celtics down, and then we would do what we did offensively, and it would just have to be enough. But I thought the series would go to 7. I thought the Celtics would win. Like I had brackets and everything, and I was just like, yo, I hate to do it. I love the Knicks, but I just from what they showed, I did not think they were going to beat them in a series. But if they were going to, I would say it would be defense, and they would find a way to score, and that's how they would win. Not like how they're doing right now. So
what about you, Lee?
Yeah,
I said Knicks in 7, and the reason that I thought that, there are 2 big reasons. One is logical, and the other one is mythical.
Fantasy.
The logical one, I said, no team in the NBA is better at scoring 2 points than the Knicks. That's pick and roll. That's ISO. That's coming off pin downs and down screens and scoring in the mid range. Talk about Mikal Bridges and OG. That's attacking the basket. That's face up, driving, ISO, one-on-one on island. No, who's better than us? All 5 guys can score inside that 3-point line. Hart is a one-man transition game. We're not the best 3-point shooting team. I thought, yes, Boston might be able to outbomb us, but when the gears grind and it's tension time and clutch time, typically the shots you see are 2-pointers, not 3s. So I said, if we got Jalen Brunson, we'd have a shot, which leads me into the mythical part of why I said Knicks in 7. I have watched that video of Jalen Brunson practicing when he's about 11 years old, probably 200, 300 times in the last 6 months. I have watched it religiously. I watch it spiritually, and I hear his father, Britt Brunson, telling him, you got to dig in. Don't give up. And the look on Jalen Brunson's face, it starts out weary, depressed, dejected, but you see the resolve building rep over rep, shot over shot when he pulls up for that mid-range, practicing the shot that he will use this playoffs. He's done it. That's bad has been built since 2005, 2006. So when I saw that, I said, to me, we have all been in pain for so long. People have been who've been Knicks fans longer than me, right? They didn't see a chip in the 90s, even though we had 2 shots at it in the finals. Bernard King never got to the 90s. In the 80s, Gerald Wilkins or Michael Ray Richardson. But this team, there's something about this last journey that feels very Shakespearean. It feels very like what the great myths of the world, where someone would come in New York and deliver that championship. His father, a former player, the coach, a former assistant, the agent, the
blood in the ground, bro.
It feels like a convergence of all these different things that can only exist in this multiverse, and we are here living it in real time. So when I saw that, I was like, it's in 7, baby.
You know, the crazy thing about that video that I love is with, like you said, once he starts to see the shots go in, like he kind of like his shoulders. You kind of see the stress get off his shoulder. Like, yeah, my dad's getting on my nerves right now, but it's going in. It's working. Okay, I see what he's talking about now. You know what I mean? And the reason why that resonates with me is because I do it with my son all the time, both of my sons. But my oldest right now, he's about 11 years old, and same thing. I set the cones up and I just have him do it over and over and over and over again. And he gets pissed off. He does not like it. He doesn't like it. But he's also not a quitter. So he's gonna do it until he sees that he can do it. And once he starts to do it, and that's why when I look at that video, I'm like, that is what made it click for him. It started at a very early age that all right, no matter what the shots are looking like, just keep going. It'll get there. Just keep going. But anyway.
Yeah, for me, bro, the only way I seen that this team could possibly win, and I've been saying it, I was saying it during the regular season, it just never happened because it seemed like they shot the lights out every game. But 3-point variance, right? Bro, in the playoffs, 3-point variance is so volatile. Like, teams could be red hot.
Yeah.
Some games, some quarters, some 6-minute stretch, and just go ice cold, bro.
Yep.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, they're going to shoot 53s, right? Like that's their game.
Yep.
There's going to be games where they only make 10, 12. How many games are they going to be in a series where the 3-point variance works in our favor? Games 1 and 2, the 3-point variance was in our favor. And we got wins.
Yep.
Game 4, well, game 3, we already know what happened. We don't even got to talk about it. Game 3 never happened. Game 4, they were making their threes again early. And I'm just like, oh my God, here we go again.
Yep.
But the second half, bro, I think they only made like 5 threes. The game changed, man. And it just shows like when you're depending on this 3-point shot, to Lee's point, right? The Knicks are really good at scoring twos. And that sounds bad, right? Because then you get a math problem.
In this league, yeah, right.
Because 3 is more than 2.
Right.
But when the variance just flips with so much volatility, bro, where they could go from making like 12 threes in the first half to 4 or 5 in the second half and shooting like 4 for 20, bro. And the Knicks are just, making half their 2-point shots. I think the Knicks Karl Anthony Towns in game 4 was 9 of 9 in the restricted area.
Yeah.
9 of 9 in the restricted area. That's how you beat Boston, bro.
Yep.
That's how you beat Boston. And the defense, to your point, Ricky, to your point, the defense, right?
Yeah.
We were talking I seen Apollo was going off about the defense in the chat. And I was like, I hear what he's saying. And I even went back and watched it this morning, bro, to see like maybe I missed something. And it's like
they fixed it immediately.
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, I kind of like I said, all right, now I sound stupid because now they fixed it.
I think the first couple of threes were like, oh, that's terrible. Right? Like everybody else is gonna get, I would say, good looks because it's usually a swing kind of situation where somebody gets a look. It's the Tatum threes that really matter.
Yes. Yep.
Because he's gonna shoot a lot of them. And I always said, like, all you could do is force him to shoot step back threes and make threes over the top. And unlike in game 3, Karl Anthony Towns was unbelievable, I thought, in game 4 at just contesting without fouling. Now, Tatum made a lot, right? He had 42 points.
Yeah.
But that's all you can do, bro. Make him make threes over the top. If he's going to hit a step back 3 from 27 feet, man, you tip your fucking cap and you run down the court, bro.
So there were 2 plays in particular. Now, one of them, the reason why I was so upset is because Cat literally was under the 3-point line with his hands down. And I'm like, that's exactly what Tatum wants you to do.
I wonder if that's the one when he got held. It was one where he got held. No?
He was
It was one open one that he splashed, bro,
I'm
where
gonna try to look for, you know what? Hold
Luke
on.
Cornett was literally just holding Cat, and they didn't call anything.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they caught Porzingis holding I don't know if it was Josh Hart or OG one. He was holding his wrist, and then he reached over him with a tipping. Yeah, and he was getting away with that. So I mean, it was happening a lot.
Okay, I think this is it right here. No, that's not it. That's not it because he took a mid range. I'm trying to find it. I'm waiting for it to come up. But so what I'm looking for, it was a play where Cat had his hands down below the three, and you kind of had Jason already in the shooting motion, like, and I kind of was like, what
Cat a little retarded though, right? Let's keep it a buck, yeah. Hey, let's all keep it real.
Yo, like something is off. Like I don't like.
Cat be a little slow sometimes, man.
I don't know.
I know we're not supposed to use the R word. I don't want to get us canceled.
Yeah, nah, for sure. But
Cat is a little off, bro. So he's gonna have his moments where the brain is gonna be farting, man. Like, yo, game 3, bro. I don't know what he was doing in game 3. Like, game 3, he was in a drop. And it's like, we haven't played drop the entire series. What are you doing?
This might have been the play that I was talking about. Let me just make sure. Okay.
The game 3 drop was depressing because he had actually done a pretty good job guarding at the level in game 2 and game 1. So I didn't understand. I didn't know if that was a Tibbs schematic thing.
No, that was all Cat.
Personal decision.
Because you can see OG was screaming at Cat.
Yeah, he actually pushed up. He pushed him at one point to get back up at the level.
This is when I kind of got a little mad at Cat.
Yeah, he's sleeping right here, bro.
That's way too much space for Jason.
Yeah, he's in the circle.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, his foot is not even touching the line.
Yeah.
So, and it's early. It was early. I didn't want them to get out to a lead, so I got a little upset. And you know what I mean?
It's still a good contest, though, bro.
It's a good contest because he's 7 foot tall. Yes. Because if he wasn't 7 foot tall, that would have been a wide open 3. And he still got there. That's a
great contest, bro.
Great contest. It's a great contest. I just didn't like the space that he had. You made him comfortable. And that's kind of what I was alluding to in game 3 that bothered me, is they let them get way too comfortable. And that's what I was worried about.
Yo, Cat, you play hoop. You hoop.
Yeah.
So like when you take that dribble, right? That rhythm dribble. To go into your shot, it's a lot more uncomfortable when a guy is a little closer to you. And once you get that rhythm dribble, the contest almost doesn't even matter, bro.
Right.
And that's kind of what we just seen right there.
This one right here. Boom. Oh my God.
Oh, that's just Brunson playing way too far. But also the guy is shooting.
He's hot. He's hot as hell. He's hot as hell.
Yeah, I don't know what you wanted to do on that.
That's what I was. When I look back at that one,
if you come up, he's going by you.
He's going by
you.
He's going by you.
Because he has the rhythm.
He's already.
And he's got full head of steam already.
I would rather he go by him instead of pull up and hit that 3.
See, but that's also my train of thought, because, like you said, then we start doing math. And what's more? You know what I'm saying? So, and I get it. I totally.
But if you dig deeper into the math, right?
It's a bad shot, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still a bad shot. That's
what
Tibbs would say. Tibbs would say that's still a bad shot. I'll live with that.
You know, like, that's probably a 32% shot in the NBA.
A higher percentage shot. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I understand. But
yeah, look who exactly.
Look.
My man is that's logo, bro.
Who was thinking about pulling up right here, bro?
Yo, that's logo, bro. That's why Jalen Brunson is just like, nah.
Can y'all see my cursor? You can see the mouse.
Yeah,
yes,
dude. That's logo, bro. So it's like,
look at the other reasons why it's bad. Look at Porzingis. Look at Horford. Those are the rebounders.
Look where they are. Yeah,
exactly. It's a bad shot. I'll live with that.
I kid you not. This entire game, my son is watching it with me, and I'm pausing and rewinding. I'm like, look, this is why you don't. And he's probably looking at me like, this dude is out of his mind. He's out of his mind.
Watch the game.
This guy is out of his mind. But what I mentioned the cruise that we went on. we were on a 7-day cruise, bro, and they had a basketball court, and that's like, I swear that was like the best thing in the world. So what was cool was I was able, so like I talk a lot to them about basketball, and after a while it sounds like, all right, bro, like whatever. It was amazing to be able, for them to be able to see me actually play basketball, and then they could say, oh, okay, he knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I just feel like they look at me like, you're just dad, like be quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they actually saw me play. So that was the best thing about it. So being able to just have, I'm sorry, I got distracted again because I looked at where he pulled up from. I don't even remember what my point was. Either way, what I'm trying to say is, at like we were going back to, I know you mentioned I was upset about the defense. It was a couple plays. I'm like, this is what you don't want. You don't want this guy getting hot. You know what I'm saying? And then there was the other one. The next one, I believe, Cat tried. Like he tried. Yeah, it's this one right here. He tried. You know what I mean? He's up on him, and Tatum did exactly what you're supposed to do when you got it big on you. As soon as he gets too close, you blow by. So boom, he makes him commit, step back.
Isn't that the pull up?
No, but that's what you blow by, and then Tatum's not gonna really go to the basket. He's gonna shoot a step back three every time. That's why
I'm living with it, bro.
That's at this point I see the game plan, and that's why I love what we've done when it comes to switching on defense. We didn't do it all year. Now being able to do it, the first half of game 3, we didn't do it well at all.
It's the most important adjustment, bro, that Tibbs has made.
Right. But if you look at it, the second half of game 3, we were a lot better on defense, and the point disparity wasn't there the way it was in the first half. So I think they just have to make minor adjustments, and guys have to fight over these screens and step up on defense. Cat is going to have to be a lot better with that. And credit to Cat through all of this, he didn't pick up a foul in any of these possessions. Yeah, that's any of these possessions is what I'm saying. Yeah, any of these possessions. So that's really what I was upset about, and I'm glad that he was able to figure it out and get, just turn the game around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say the Knicks, actually, when you consider how many threes that these guys shoot, the Knicks have been great at not fouling 3-point shooters. I think they fouled like maybe 3-point shooters this entire series. Mm-hmm. When you consider these guys take 43s a game, like that's, I mean, I'll take that, because I just expected the Knicks to have a bunch of mental mistakes where they're fouling 3-point shooters all the time, and they haven't done it. So, I mean, kudos to them. They've been pretty disciplined.
Yeah. So that was, I never really got to answer. You about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I listened to you guys. They're making sound arguments for why that's a shot you live with. I think I disagree, though. Mm-hmm. I live with that shot in the fourth quarter because Jason Tatum has proved he's not a fourth quarter player. He is top 5 quarters 1 through 3.5. The second half of the quarter, I would say he's a top 15 player at that point, because the clutch gene, for whatever reason, is not there. And it's not just last year not winning the NBA Finals. With Brown, there's just something about him. He gets in his head, and his shot diet becomes a little bit more elastic in the crunch time, where it's not the reps he's usually his sweet spots. He tends to take shots outside of that are very high difficulty, low percentage shots, like that one. If he shot that with 3 minutes to go and the Knicks are only up by 2, I live with it. But in the first quarter, those rhythm pull-up threes can generate a lead that now we're crawling it back in the third quarter. It also allows for a pretty spread offense that gives other guys opportunities to get involved once he decides to pump fake or then drive in and spray out. It creates a little bit more of a flow within their offense, opposed to just letting them drive.
Because
I would always advocate on the drive, because the drive doesn't create rhythm. The shot does create rhythm.
But Lee, he's not driving to score. Like, he's driving to kick.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, they're driving to kick, and if they're driving to kick, the Knicks are in rotation, and we already know how that ends.
I don't know. I thought we did a pretty good job of staying on shooters after the first quarter. Bridges was definitely hedging. I don't understand why he did that when that was obviously not the game plan. He was hedging way too much on the 3-point line, leaving Derek White open. in the first quarter. But
In the first
after a
quarter.
timeout, Tibbs really tightened that adjustment, and we didn't
Mhm.
see it too much anymore. So I'm just saying, best case scenario, let him drive, let him spray, because I'm going to trust most of the time the starting five and Deuce and Mitch to stay on the shooter.
Yeah,
I feel
and
like I just feel like when you think percentages, right? So average 3-point shooting in the NBA is 35%. I don't know the exact number. I'm gonna assume a step back three is probably low 30s, right?
probably, yeah.
Like if you're shooting step backs at a low 30% clip, I can't let you have layups, bro. I just can't. Or I can't let you drive and kick to Derek White, who shoots like almost 50% from the corner. Like that's when shit becomes problematic. So a step back three above the break, a 30% shot versus a dunk layup or like a kick to this guy who just does not fucking miss, Derek White in the corner, to me is like, that's not the shot that you want. And I think that's why the Knicks have taken, because as a defense, you have to give up something, right? You're not going to shut everything down, bro. So you got to kind of decide what you want to live with. And the Knicks have decided that they can live with step back threes. And now their best step back 3-point shooter is out. So what does their offense look like tomorrow? That's what I'm wondering.
Fair. And I would say that the hope is that you're staying on the shooter in the corner, Derek White, and that doesn't become a wide open catch and shoot opportunity in the corner for a splash. I also am granting that it is a low percent shot across the NBA, but there's 4 or 5 guys that probably hit that at a decent clip. Tatum's one of them. So to me, that's not a low percentage shot for Tatum. It is for Brown. Pull up threes is not Brown's specialty. It's Derek White, KP, and Tatum the best. Tatum might be top 3 entire NBA. So that's actually a high percentage shot in the first quarter, especially for him. But in the last 3 minutes of the fourth, then becomes a very low percentage shot for Jason Tatum.
It's actually his go-to shot. You know what I mean? So he practices it more than he probably does step back layups and all kinds of shit. I mean,
but when you look at his numbers, he shot 35%, I think, from 3 this year. It's not a great number.
no, from 3 all around, but we're just talking about the step back back itself, that specific shot. Because I'm sure there's still some spot ups that you got to add in there, some spot up shots, some walk-ins, but the step back 3 for sure is his go-to shot that he looks to do. I'm sure everybody loves a wide open shot, but more often than not, he probably would step back if he was wide open if he could, because that's just the shot.
Just to do it.
It's mechanical.
Izzy said all the refs should be fined. He also said, can we talk about the refs so far in these playoffs?
So let's shout out to the chat. Jack City just entered, and he said a Knick fan just into the chat. Salute to you.
Salute, brother. Salute.
My God, salute. Steven Rodriguez, he actually asked a question earlier. Where is it? It's a good question. He says, my question to y'all is, how do you think this Knicks team would have done in the same run with Randall and Dante DiVincenzo instead of Cat?
I think we're in the same situation.
In this with Randall and because I have to factor.
We still have Macau, right?
Yeah,
we still have Macau, but I do have to factor in what Cat has done this series, which is not underwhelming at all. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's been fine. He's been okay.
He's been fine. So what is Julius Randle doing right now? I know
he's having a monster postseason right now, bro.
He just had a triple-double last night.
Julius is having a hell of a postseason, bro.
A hell of a postseason.
He is having the postseason that we knew he could.
We wanted him to have
if he was ever healthy.
Yeah. Yes. So, and then you add Dante DiVincenzo on top of that. I think if you add in Dante and Julius, the difference is Julius is he's a great rebounder. He's not as well as so Cat isn't a rim protector by any stretch of the imagination, but the fact that he's 7 feet tall and he can put his hands up, it does help. That does help. And that's something that Julius Randle, even on his best day, can't bring you. So that's just one thing that I know having him on this team. I don't know how he would have done against the Pistons.
Oh, he would have loved that series.
He would have loved
Yeah.
it. Right. That's what I'm saying. I think I
He
don't
would have
know.
bodied all of them.
I think he would have enjoyed the physicality in that series
Yes.
so much that it
For
would have
sure.
flipped, you know what I mean, the script a little bit. I don't want to take away from I don't want to take anything away from Cat.
Nah, bro, you don't have to, because
Right.
the whole question is
Because we have to if
designed around
yeah,
Cat not even being here. So
right. Because if we're being honest, adding a Dante DiVincenzo to come off the bench with Deuce and that's
and also, bro,
that's pretty scary.
if you go back, right, really, really think about it, right? Julius actually seemed to take the whole Tatum thing personal whenever we
Yes.
played Boston. Like, he got up and guarded Tatum.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that we would have been like,
I remember some Boston games where there was a lot of brain lapses on
well, he's gonna have that, bro. But it's
defense.
the
Just on
same thing like
defense.
Cat, bro.
Just on
Like,
defense. That's what I'm saying.
They're two very imperfect players, bro.
Right.
Who are gonna have these lapses where you're just like, what is going on?
They almost are weird in the same way sometimes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I'm saying? And
Except for the
sometimes
zestiness. Randall's not
Yeah,
zesty.
Randall,
Randall's the opposite of zesty.
You never have to worry about that.
Hold the
Yo.
zest.
I'm gonna chime in here again
No
with
zest,
a
please.
different opinion. I would say absolutely hell no, we're not in the same position because of Randall's inconsistent effort on defense. We could never depend on him to consistently guard up or at his position.
Tell that to Minnesota.
Do what?
Tell that to Minnesota.
I'm talking about with us.
They look like a very sound defensive team.
That's
Yeah,
a different scheme.
And hold on. And I will also argue the Knicks were always a pretty good defensive team, even
Yes.
with Julius and his defensive lapses.
Yeah, I would say despite the lapses.
Despite
I
the
don't think there's enough evidence. It's very different, first of all, performing in OKC or Minnesota than it is New York. And I think the pressure really busted Randall's pipes. I don't think he could ever handle up mentally to the pressure required to perform at a high level in the playoffs, no matter who the opponent was. And I know some of those areas he was injured, but I'm thinking about the scheming, the one-on-one defense by John Collins on Randall will live in infamy, I think, in terms of shooting percentages. I also think the spacing would be a lot different than it is right now. In the center
That is
position,
a fact.
very problematic. Is Mitch starting? Is Precious starting? Do we trade for Valanciunas?
That
No
is a
matter
fact.
what, we look very different offensively and
That is
defensively.
a fact.
I think we could probably still beat Detroit, but there's no way that we would beat Boston Celtics. So I would argue that it would not look the same. It would be a lot worse, personally. And I like Randall. I'm not a Randall hater at all.
What about you, Rick? How you feel?
Would we be on the same run? Meaning, would we in the second round right now up 3-1? Is that the question, or am I?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like how would we fare in this same exact Pistons Celtics series?
I think Dante doesn't get enough credit for his defense. I think they look at him more as a shooter. And I think his defense would have played an important role against this team. As we see Derek White and surprisingly Horford, he hasn't really been shooting all that well. Like he's like averaging under 10 points a game, which is not what I was expecting from him. So with all that factored in, I think would be on a similar run, maybe not the exact same, maybe would be tied in the series or something. Maybe I don't know, but I think would still be on a similar run. It would look different for sure, just because of how they play, but I think it would be a similar run. I think we're definitely getting past Detroit, so it would be us against the Celtics. What would the record be? I don't know, but I think we'd be on a similar run.
I think another aspect that goes unnoticed is how much you can trust Dante with the ball in his hands. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we definitely miss, especially the fact that sometimes outside of Jalen, and now we're seeing Macau. There's not much. There's not anyone you can just give the ball to, and just move out of the way, kind of thing. In no way am I letting Dante run an offense, but someone that you can actually trust with the ball in his hands without Jalen being on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we have missed at certain points in this season for sure. Mm-hmm. That's what I was most worried about with the trade. I felt like I said earlier, I felt like Cat and Julius kind of, they don't bring you the same thing, but like I said, they're kind of strong and weak in the same areas in a way. It's just the difference is Cat stretches the floor way better than Julius. And I think that's the biggest difference. Everything else, I think they hover around the same.
Julius's playmaking is far.
Cat's playmaking is good too. He's just
not even close, bro.
He's 7 foot tall. He's gonna look Cat. A lot weirder. And
Cat.
I mean, no,
Cat.
He's better. He's
Cat.
I never said he was just as good. I said
Cat. Hold on,
balance.
Cat
around the same area.
Cat. The guy's averaging 1 assist in the playoffs. It's not close, Cat. It's not close. It's not close, brother. I'm sorry.
All right, cool. We kind of got lost because that's not a point that I really care to make. You're right. I'm not arguing with you on that, bro.
The Knicks one of the best teams at generating corner threes when Julius was here, and that has gone down significantly without Julius, man. Like the guy he was a really good. And he commanded a double team. There was no guarding him with a guard. You weren't gonna put Drew Holiday on him.
Yeah, we made
the dude's a monster, bro.
We made the trade, and both teams are in the same spot right now.
Oh yeah, I'm happy. I'm not complaining.
That's all I'm saying is
there's what I felt like to have them both here. That's all I'm saying, bro.
And that's exactly,
I just can't allow any Julius slander, bro. You know I'm a defender of Julius.
Problem is you took it as slander. I'm telling you that. I don't know how we got here. What I was trying to say is that Julius and Cat, that position to me is kind of switchable. They bring things that are better, that each person does things certain. The same way Julius is a way better playmaker, Cat's a way better shooter. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things they do and they'll bring. They both are great offensive players and not great defensive players. It's kind of what I was alluding to. Mm. The main thing we lost in that trade was Dante DiVincenzo. Yes. Because there was nothing to replicate what he brought. And that's the point that I was alluding to. There was nothing to replicate what Dante brought to this team. And we're seeing, up until this point now, because finally somebody
Macau decided to wake up.
Was it PJ? You think PJ yoked him up in the locker room like, yo, go?
Maybe you seen they were like forehead to forehead the other day. I think PJ definitely been having some talks with him.
Yeah. And then last night, I posted on Twitter earlier. Josh, right after the game, he's like, and PJ Tucker's like been a great addition to he randomly just brings up PJ Tucker. So PJ Tucker,
nobody even asked about PJ.
Nobody asked him anything about PJ. And he just brought him up. So yeah. I really think PJ got these dudes back there like by their collar, like, yo, let's wake up.
And you know what else, too? You know what else, Cap? Campaign, bro.
Yeah.
Because there was an interview a few weeks ago where Macau brought up Campaign. He wasn't asked about him.
Yeah,
but he brought up Campaign, and he was like, yeah, sometimes when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, Cam calls me some not so good names. is what
I love it because I can see it. I can see Cam just.
And Cam want to be out there. So he's like, yo, you got the time that I want to be on the floor, and this is what you're doing with it. So
like, what are you doing? You're playing like a burger.
Wake up, exactly.
So I mean, I think that PJ Tucker, Campaign. Now, Campaign came in last night. He was.
I need Cam to do something.
Yeah. He's supposed to be that spark. Yeah, he's supposed to be that spark.
Oh my God. Cam came in last night and was just throwing shit up there.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Untimely shots. I was like, Cam, come on, bro. I love you too much for you to be doing this dumb shit right now. Like, I want you to play. Every time I'm like, you got to give Cam minutes. And then when I see him do what he was doing, I was kind of like, I see why Tibbs ain't fucking with you right now.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though, bro? So some of the shots that he takes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's an awesome pull-up jump shooter. Mm-hmm. Like mad underrated pull-up jump shooter. Right?
Right.
The numbers back that up.
Mhm.
So when he takes some of these shots, I'm like, I know if he makes one of these,
What it'll do
it
for
could
him.
turn into
Mhm.
4 of these.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like when he shoots some shit that's kind of wild, like he had the transition 3, the first shot he took yesterday, that was kind of wild. I was thinking to myself, like, I hope this goes in because I know
For
that
his sake. For
it
his
could
sake.
turn into like this could snowball if it goes in.
Right,
And then
right.
he missed it, and I'm like, and then he missed like his next 2, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it was over. It was
Yo,
over at that point.
when it comes to
Coach was
Cam,
over.
who's he always talking to? Like
I
he
don't
turns
know.
around and he's I'm like, yo, who's he talking to?
I don't
feel
think
like
Cam
it's
knows who he's talking
Yo,
to. Yeah,
I swear, Cam sees people in
It's-
his head, bro. I
yo,
guarantee
he's his own hype man. It's gotta be.
He really
It's gotta
is,
be,
Yo,
man.
he's the
I
best
love
hype
it.
man for himself, bro. Like
love
I
it, though. I
swear,
love
he's
it,
one of
though.
those. And you gotta have one of those guys on the team.
Yeah.
It's all energy. Like you
Yeah.
see him before the game, he's warming up. He's just jumping. He does not stop moving at all.
Mm.
I
He's just
feel like
moving.
in this postseason, there's going to be another campaign game.
Absolutely, that's what he does.
Like there has to be, bro. I
That's
just
what he
can't
does.
imagine him going on the way he's going on. There's going to be another game where he hits like 3 or 4 threes.
I'm calling
I'll
this
take it.
tomorrow. I'm calling tomorrow.
take
It's
it.
gonna happen tomorrow, man.
I love that.
Let's do it.
I
Let's
could
do it.
see it in the
big.
Indiana series too. The pace favors his style of game a little bit more too.
A lot
I think
of
more
guards,
great threes,
a lot of guards. Yeah,
opportunities.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Mhm.
Yo,
I
Lee.
think-
So this is crazy, right? You just made me think about something. So I had said in one good thing I said about getting out of that Detroit series, I was like, the series against Boston is going to open up a little bit more, right?
Mhm.
Because we knew it wasn't going to be nearly as ugly. If we, assuming we get through this last game, this last win, and we play Indiana, like it's going to be a little bit more open.
Yep.
Like there's going to be some opportunities. It's crazy to me how I don't know what word to use, but like the tenor of like each series has changed, right? Because you went from like this highly charged first round series, and then you play Boston, who is a great defensive team in their own right, but it's different, right? Like they're not trying to kill you. And Indiana, even though you got to watch those guys, they're a little dirty to me, bro. Actually, like I find them to be a little dirty. I don't know if you guys been watching them.
Like what Matherin did the other night.
Yeah, like they do a lot of dirty shit, bro. But there's still going to be more opportunities in the open court against them because it's going to be a little bit more pace in that series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think that like we just alluded to, I think the role players will have a little bit more fun.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Shamet actually did some minutes in this series.
I think that it's a perfect series for him.
Just because of Indiana plays an extended rotation too, so you're almost forced to, unless you're keeping it low scoring, you're almost forced to expand the rotation and bring Shamet or just give Payne more minutes. I think both of those could be possibilities. But what I liked about Indiana compared to they're more like Detroit in this sense. When a set breaks down, they have very few bailouts. You got Siakam, who can give you something on the block in the mid range. The flow game. He's got the little midi. He's got the handle to get some create space. You got Halliburton, who can do it from the free throw line up. Now he's not so much a dribble penetrator. He's a little bit more off the dribble pull up from a 3-point line. That's where a lot of his creation comes from. But outside of that, Nembhard, Naismith, Turner, Obi, McConnell, it's limited how much on-ball shot creation they're able to generate. A lot. They're so big on ball movement. So we control the pace. And we hit this under 100 points every game. This series, I think, has a potential to go 4 or 5. I think it's all about who controls the dictation of points per game and the pace. That would dictate how long the series. No matter what, Knicks win, I think, because we had the best player on the floor, best starting lineup, better coach, in my opinion. But in this series, it's all about maintaining the score under 100. Don't let Nembhard, Naismith, and Turner get above the break threes, open shots in the corner. Make them work for every possession. And as I said, if it runs down to a battle of 2 points, we're going to win no matter who the matchup is.
Yeah.
The thing I like about this series that it's, and I put out a tweet before the series started, and I said this series is gonna tell us how we should structure our team. And someone jumped at me immediately, was like, "Oh, you trying to say we're gonna lose?" I'm like, "Yo, bro, like whether we win or lose this series, my point fucking remains. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?"
There's a lot of data to be collected. It's
Yes, like
basically
what
your
do you,
point.
we're playing the team that just won the championship.
Mhm.
Whether we win or lose, it's going to tell us a lot about how we should structure our team. You know what I mean? The point still remains. Um, on that note, we get Cat, floor stretcher, Porzingis. You get the two wings who you know can guard whatever wing is in the NBA for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And then you already got Jalen Brunson. You know you can put the ball in his hand at the end of the game. The most reliable player in the NBA in the last 2 minutes. So
The baddest man in the land.
Yeah.
the baddest man in the land, the baddest man in the land. So when you see how we structured our team to go against the Celtics, now I'm like, well, how did the Celtics play against Indiana this year? You know what I mean? Because now I want to see how that formula
It's a good question.
works
Yeah.
against those other teams.
I know
You know what I'm
Indiana
saying?
beat them at least once or twice.
They did. But the difference is what we're seeing right now. There's something mental about the Celtics team that I've never been able to put my finger on. Extremely talented. Like it's never been about talent with that team. I've never seen a team so talented that just looks like they're this close to losing every freaking game that they're in. Even when they're up, like if they can just lose the lead, like as you saw in the first two games, 20-point lead back to back is outrageous. You know what I'm saying? So year after year, I've always said the Celtics play with their food too much. I
You
literally
always
said
said
it.
that.
I've
You
literally
always
said
said
it
that.
for years.
I
It's
got that on
crazy.
repeat in my head, bro. You saying that.
I literally say it all the
Every
time.
time we're down, bro. Every time we're down, I got you in my head, bro. Like, yo, these jokers about to play with their food.
About to play with their food. I swear the Celtics have done it for years. As good as they've been, they play with their food. I don't know what it is. And I said, this is not the team that you can play with. This is not. We're not going to allow you to play with a lead and just
Yeah,
give it back.
yo, the biggest problem is with Boston, and their fans will tell you, bro. Like, I hate to use this word because they're defending champs, but they're a little front runner ish.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, if you get them into some deep waters late in games, they are not the same team that they were the first three quarters.
They panic. Yep.
It's
Definitely panic.
crazy to fathom that a team, even the Warriors, they're losing their series right now. But even when you watch the Warriors when they're at their best, right? The Warriors are not rattled at all at the end of games, bro. Like the poise is crazy. Like we seen the game that we played against them, the one game we played against them that was really close, and they just out executed us at the end of the game. Like they're great at that shit. The Celtics, man, they get frantic, bro.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And it makes no sense because they have two guys who can literally go get you a bucket.
Right.
The reason why Knicks fans, we're not worried, bro, is because we have a guy who we know could go get us one when we need one, bro.
Whenever we
So
need
the fact that they get the way that they get when the game gets tough and when the game gets close is crazy to watch, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because I know that if you can keep it close, it's advantage Knicks, bro.
Yeah. And the beauty of I do want to mention Mitch and the impact that he's brought to this team. I remember having a talk on the Knicks Nightcap. And Lee, you came on, and I think Ebony came on, and we were talking about Mitch. And I was asking, I'm like, do you guys think that Mitchell Robinson is going to change our defense? I have to laugh at myself for asking that dumbass question because we've seen what he's able to do. Like, we literally know how effective he has been. The only doubt we should have ever had about Mitchell Robinson is his health. And that's it. It should have stopped there. There should have never been a question of what he could bring to this team. Is it worth it? Should we trade him? The only question we should have ever had for Mitch, outside of his free throws, of course. I mean, that's always something you could talk about with Mitch, is his health. And that was always what people were scared of, is depending on Mitch to be your backup and how dependable he is. And, that's over his career. He hasn't had the greatest injury history. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in and he's out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. It's, if you hear that Mitch is hurt, it's kind of like, well, okay. Well, how long is he hurt for? It's you kind of don't really get upset anymore, because it's kind of like you kind of used to it. Mitch has quietly saved the hell out of this team, because how many times has Cat been in foul trouble and we're able to put Mitch in there? How many times we have been in situations where we need another chance, and he gets that second chance for us on that rebound? There are very few, even Steven Adams made me like, no, Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounder in this league. And you see it. You saw it last night. Kristaps Porzingis, 7'3". He just couldn't get there. Now he's dealing with something, but you're 7'3", bro. It's a rebound. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, your stomach could hurt. Like, I get it. Whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? But Mitchell Robinson's impact on this team has been immediate. Since he's gotten here. The impact has been immediate, and he has shown how valuable he is to this team. And now, depending on the makeup of this roster going forward, do we lock up Mitch? Do we say, like, listen, we need him on this team if you're gonna have Cat as your main guy?
It's expensive, bro.
Yeah,
and
money is always a thing.
And I'm not comparing at all. It's gonna be expensive, and you got a much cheaper option in Huck Porty sitting over there waiting in the wings. So is it worth paying Mitch? I mean, I don't know.
Can Huck Porty bring you what Mitch brings you?
I think that he could bring you a version of it. I think it'll look a little bit different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the rim protecting, he can bring a lot of that. I just don't know about that perimeter. That perimeter is something that, I mean, Mitch Robinson at that size, it's a gift almost for him to be able to guard the perimeter at that size.
Hey, if you want to look, if you don't believe, or at least if you don't think that there's any like proof of concept, think about that game against Toronto where Huck Porty literally was giving Scotty Barnes nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Scotty Barnes was in jail, bro. So if you need any kind of proof, it's not much. It's a very small sample size, but that's something to look back at when you wonder if he could go out and guard in space.
Right.
I think he can, bro.
I mean, I at this point, seeing what he's able to do and him being able to sit there and watch Mitch do it, I don't doubt that he'll be able to do it if he can work on it. It's just, I think it's not the ability thing with him. It's just what he was gifted as Mitchell Robinson, to be 7 foot tall in the wingspan that he has and to be able to move the way he does.
And he's legit 7 feet, bro.
Legit 7 feet.
Did you see that? So you remember the game against Detroit where Mitch got into the shoving match with Paul Reed?
Yeah.
And then Cat steps in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that shot of Cat and Mitch walking to the bench together.
Yeah.
Mitch is towering over Cat.
Yep.
Like, he's towering over him, bro. When I seen that image, I was just like, what?
This dude is huge, bro.
He's huge.
He's huge, bro. Lee, go ahead. Talk to me. How you feeling about what Mitch has brought to the team since he's been here and in these series.
Apollo, do you remember what I said when you asked me about what I thought the mentality or what Mitch would bring or fits the defense on that show? Do you remember what I said?
Nah. Remind me.
Never trade Mitch. It's a
Yes,
hashtag
that's
trying
right,
to go
that's right.
viral, man. Never
Mhm.
trade him. And then never,
Yeah.
never. Because Tibbs needs the tools of his tool set. You need
Yeah.
every coach has an archetype on the offensive end and defensive end. Brunson is his archetypal point guard who can free flow and run the game, sometimes run sets at Tibbs calls, otherwise freestyle on the court.
Mhm.
Mitch is that back line, that anchor that Tibbs has always needed throughout his career. He is the Noah. He doesn't have the pass in Noah, but he has that rim protection, the ability to play the mid range, not just
Mhm.
blowing up lobs, but also guarding jump shooters.
Yeah.
Mitch is so diverse as a defender. And I think there was the regular Joe who mentioned it earlier. I agree with you that the best adjustment Tibbs has made is switching. That
Mhm.
is something we only saw to a very small degree in certain circumstances in the regular season. But in the playoffs, all of a sudden it's become part of our identity. In
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
series, it's become how we've thrown Boston off kilter from running their offense and getting to their rhythm. And Mitch is a huge part of that because when I watch a lot of NBA, maybe 4 or 5 guys, maybe 1 or 2 bids, maybe one, maybe Jonathan Isaac might be the only bid who can guard two on the string and hedge
Mhm.
and recover at the same ratio and intensity
It's
as Mitchell.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable
Yeah.
the ground he is capable of covering as a defender at the 5 in pick and roll, or when he's hedging and guarding the perimeter and trying to also stop her,
Yeah.
penetrate. It's unbelievable. So to me, I saw the matchups that we would potentially play in the Eastern Conference, and I didn't really see a big guy or a opposing big that could outplay Mitch. Jalen Duren, relies too bright, not ready for the moment. With Isaiah Stewart out, even less so. And then in Boston, Al Horford, too old, too slow,
Mhm.
right? Experienced, brainy, but the athleticism's gone. Luke Cornett has actually improved very much since Phil Jackson drafted him, but he's
Mhm.
still a third string center. Porzingis in and out of the rotation with the stomach virus. Mitch absolutely outplayed him every time they shared the court. KP couldn't even get in a box out position because of
Nope.
how strong and lean and towering Mitchell Robinson is. So when I went to Indiana, it's barbecue chicken, man, because Miles Turner, his weakest point is that Jaren Jackson Jr., poor rebounding. He can
Mhm.
protect the rim. He hits
Yeah, he's
threes.
not a great rebounder at all.
He's not a good rebounder. That offensive rebound is going to become so important in this upcoming series. And Mitch, again, is going to be the X factor as he is in the entire playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Cuzzo, talk to me.
I feel like a lot of positive things are being said. So I'm gonna take a different approach.
Uh-oh.
No, and I agree with everything that you guys said. I agree with everything, but I gotta be real because I was watching a game with my brother, and Mitchell Robinson, he can't handle passes. Like,
Oh, we know that.
We've talked about that before, Joe. Yep.
and we know his free throw shooting is, and I was just like, those things kind of make him a liability on like the offensive scoring end, but the offensive rebounds is where he makes up for that. So I would say it would be nice.
It's screening.
It's what?
And
And
his
it's screening. Much improved screener.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Agreed.
But that's positive. That's positive.
He's not doing positive. He's not doing
I'm just doing straight negative because everything you said was positive and true. But Joe Mazzulla made Hack-a-Mitch a thing because it doesn't sound as good as Hack-a-Shaq, but he made it a thing, and he was sweating at that line, and you see the team is trying to encourage him. Hey, don't worry about that one. Shake that one off. I saw him like put a little arc in it, and he was like, "All right, bet air ball." And I'm just like, the arc was there. The arc was there for sure. The arc was there. It just missed everything. So, that's what I'll say because I feel like it has to be mentioned. I all the positive things you said absolutely true, but yeah, those things bother me. Like I saw he came in the game, they gave him a bounce pass underneath the net, and he just couldn't hold on to it. And I was just like, that would have been an instant dunk. I'm surprised I don't see more lobs, but I guess with Porzingis on the floor, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. But
Team 2 yesterday.
Hold on. We're gonna talk about it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean that's the last thing I was gonna say anyway. I wanted to see more lobs, but yeah, he did. He did have he had two. Only remember
He had
seeing
one
one.
from Cat. He had
Yeah,
one from Cat,
Okay.
and he had one from Brunson.
from Brunson. But
Okay.
then there was another attempt. I was watching with my son, and Cat came down the
Oh,
court.
when he threw it off the glass.
Oh, I thought
Hey,
that was
yo,
a pass.
what the fuck are you doing?
I know
Yeah,
what that
I didn't know. Yeah, I was confused. I was like, was he throwing it to himself? Did
Yo,
he
He threw
take too
that
many
shit
snaps
hard
and
as
was trying to?
He threw that shit like he was trying to make the person behind him catch it. Like I'm like, yo, what are you doing,
Yeah,
Cat?
I was very confused by what that actually was.
Yo, I swear, I've never seen anyone flip a switch like Cat, bro.
That's Cat, bro.
I swear, bro. This
Oh my
dude,
God.
this dude can turn
That was
into
spot
a
on.
12. He could turn into a 12-year-old like that, like a 12-year-old immediately. And it's like, hello. And he's like,
Yeah.
all right, my bad. Pull up 3, cash. Take it to the basket. Oh, all the way. And one. And making it. And it's like, oh, okay, he's here now. And then it's
Yeah.
like something goes off and it's like click. And then he just starts doing something.
Then he
dumb.
throws a wild outlet pass. His outlet passes, bro. The outlet pass he threw
Yes.
when the Knicks were down 11, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it turned. Tatum picked it up
And then
picked it up, and it turned into a corner 3 from Derek White, bro, and put us down 14.
Yeah.
I almost
Bro.
lost my
Yeah.
mind,
Bro,
bro.
my
think
my son was like, I know exactly what not to do to piss this dude off. Because I was at the top of my lungs, like, yo, what
Yeah.
the are you doing, yo?
Really.
What, like, wake up, bro?
Like,
Like,
yo, we're in the middle of a run, bro. We're making a
Yeah.
push, and then you just crush the momentum, man. Thankfully,
Bro.
this team is not fragile, bro.
And then he
That
wakes up.
shit just takes the wind out of your sails, man.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point, bro.
And then he wakes up out of nowhere, and he wakes up and he's back on track. It's like I said, I don't know if PJ Tucker gets in that huddle and he's like, "Yo, Cat, what is wrong with you?" Because then it's like he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, my fault. Like, I'm good."
Yeah.
And I love Cat, man. I don't want to underappreciate anything he does and what he brings to this team. It's just sometimes you are way too talented to make these mistakes as often as you make them. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been doing a lot better job at limiting the window of how long he does this dumb shit, because it's a window. When he makes one, the thing about seeing Cat make a dumbass play is there are more to follow. It's like, all right, he's in that mode. He's in that zone, because any other time, like, he knows what to do. Then he just starts doing weird shit and trying to draw fouls and then flopping it up there at the last second and then going like this. And it's like, bro, come on, bro. Like, that's not the flow of the offense. That's not what we're doing right now. Kick the ball out and reset. Get calm down, bro. He really gets in his head way too fast sometimes, and then he starts to move without thinking. And that's how he picks up fouls a lot of times. It's like, yo, bro, just slow down. Like, my boy was pissed off at the foul that he made on Porzingis at the fast break when they threw it all the way up the court and Porzingis was by himself and he still fouled him. And it was like, yo, bro, like, that's what you wasted your foul on?
Yeah, man.
Yo, that's the shit that Anthony Edwards was talking about last year. When Anthony Edwards was just like, in the press conference, yo, he just turned to my man like, stop fouling.
Right. Like, yo, chill out. Like,
yo,
what are you
just
doing?
stop, bro.
Like, he wants to stop the play. It's kind of like his way to stop the play. And I'm like, bro, you can only stop the play 6 times in an entire game. You know that, right, bro? Like, just relax. But it's I don't want to sound like I'm beating up on Cat, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not. It's just more frustrating for me because that's how valuable he is to this team. When he's playing well, like, we are really unstoppable. To add him to Jalen Brunson and then what Mikal's been doing recently, like that fourth quarter run of Mikal last night, like Jalen Brunson was amazing. Like, all of these guys were amazing. 4 guys scored 20 points last night.
Yeah.
But watching Mikal go through that run where he's just
in the postseason,
knocking down mid ranges over anybody, Porzingis 7'3", running, jumping at you, and you just right over him. Yeah. And it's just like, bottle this shit up, please. Bottle it up, and Just study it and do that all the time. The only thing I would ever complain about Macau is I would love for him to get to the line a little bit more. Just make it 3 to 4 times a game. Just get to the line. You know what I'm saying? Take like someone said a long time ago, the reason why he's the Iron Man is because he doesn't take any contact. You know what I mean? Like he never gets bumped. Like he's taking the fadeaways more often than not. And sometimes you do see it, but go in there and just take some contact. Because let's be honest, I do think that there are players in this league who are gonna hack the hell out of you.
Yeah.
But you're not really gonna have that happen so often in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Now playoffs is a little different. They might let some things go. But I just like that's the only other thing that I would ever say about Macau is just get to the line a little bit more. But I like I said, bottle up what he's doing right now and keep it tight and don't let it go anywhere, because if we have that kind of when Jalen Brunson doesn't have it going, when Cat is in his little switch move, to have that to go to is so valuable, especially to finish off this. Because after we play like I said, after we play the Celtics, we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals. Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years.
Yeah,
first time I found him. I've never seen this before. It's brand new.
Right. I mean, I was a baby Knicks fan at this, and I wasn't a baby. I was born in '88. I wasn't a baby by any stretch of the imagination, but I had just started to pay attention to the Knicks. I was always a Knicks fan, and nobody paid it. At that age, you're not really paying attention to who the players on the Knicks unless your dad is sitting there with you every day. And I didn't grow up with that.
Totally,
what I'm saying? I mean, me and my brother were watching games every now and then, but I don't want to snitch on Dre, but Dre was a Jordan fan. So, but either way, he was still a Knicks fan. He loved Jordan. You know what I mean? I don't know how that happens, but anyway, watching the games, like there was just certain things that I didn't get to add to my Knicks memory. You know what I'm saying? Like I know about it because I'm a Knicks fan. I know about the history, but there was a lot that I didn't get to actually see and enjoy at the moment. One of the first things that I did get to actually see and enjoy is when they went on that run in '99. And that was the first time I really cheered for the Knicks. And then for them to get the gentleman's sweep in the finals versus the Spurs, and that was that the lockdown season? I think it was the lockdown season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
99.
Yeah. Yep. And I was just like, so this is what it feels like. Okay, cool. All right. But at least I saw them good. I saw them when they were good. I saw the Allen Houston. Like I saw them when they were good. So I was like, all right, cool. I have that memory. This is the first time since I first became a Knicks fan that I'll get to see these guys in the Eastern Conference Finals, if everything goes according to plan. Yeah. So predictions, because you don't got much time. Predictions, let's say, because it's Indiana. Cavs fumbled that. I don't know what the hell happened.
Injuries.
You know what I mean? Injuries for sure. I know the Darius Garland injury.
I just got to point out that's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
What?
Because, all right, all we heard
Indiana.
all year, right? All we heard all year was Tibbs is going to run his guys into the ground, right? Like, these guys are going to be ground into nothing by the time the playoffs come around. And then you had the Cavs who their starters played little to no minutes in the comparison to a lot of teams.
10-man rotation.
Everybody's hurt, bro. Yep. Like they barely. I think they had one guy playing more than 30 minutes, 32 minutes. Like,
that's crazy.
If you look at they're like they have very low minutes, like in their starting lineup. A lot of guys around 28, 29 minutes. I find that to be hilarious. Like I can't not get that out of my head. That there was this notion that in the Knicks, for the most part, I mean, everybody's dealing with something, but for the most part, guys look fresh.
And like you're saying, to elaborate a little bit more, everybody's saying you can't play these guys all this minutes and you expect these guys to be able to go up against the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And while there's some numbers that might lead to that being true, because it always goes back to numbers. There's no numbers, then it's not a conversation. Even though there's some numbers that says the truth, you look now and it's like Celtics are down 3-1, Cavs are out of it, and it's injuries that's done it for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's injuries that's done. Sam Hauser, I mean, he's not a heavy rotation guy, but he's in their rotation. You know what I mean? Porzingis not being able to be who he should be, which is crazy. That team, I don't know what
We
the
don't
hell.
even know what's wrong with him, really. Like, they don't even know what's wrong with him.
But if you remember, when he was a Knick, there was always something wrong with him. Every now and then it would be. Every time around All-Star break, he would miss time for like maybe 1 to 2 weeks, and we're kind of like, what's wrong? And then they were saying something about he's anemic or something with his blood or something. There was always something medically about Porzingis since he was drafted that they were like, you're gonna have to watch out for that. And I remember those conversations. And then when he would miss time, and people say to you he wasn't able to last the full season, and then you started to see it season after season, he didn't last. And then when he tore his ACL, it's just like more of this.
Remember when
now,
he was a Knick?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I think they asked him like what was going on with him. He was like in a bad slump.
Yeah.
He said he was tired.
Yeah, and that was something that they mentioned, and they were like, "You're tired. It's halfway through the season. What do you
Say he
mean?
was tired. He was sleepy.
Yo, my man said, I'm just tired, And
Sleepy.
imagine telling him sleepy.
I'm sleepy, bro. Explain it that way. Sleepy.
It's sleepy.
Dude was sleepy, bro. He's sleepy. He's sleepy right now, apparently.
And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, all right, so you have Porzingis health, boom. Then Jaylen Brown was dealing with a knee injury coming into the series.
Yeah.
Then Jason Tatum goes out with the Achilles, and all year long, all we heard was our guys will not be able to last deep into the playoffs because of the minutes that they were playing.
Heavy
and
minutes,
all of these guys played less minutes than our guys, and they're all getting hurt.
Hey Lee, you in the tri-state area?
No, I'm in Dallas.
Okay. So Bart Scott is on the radio here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that Bart always talks about in reference to football, and he even used it when talking about like baseball with pitching, and I'm just gonna use it from like with basketball. Bart always talks about training camp and preseason and how there's less preseason games now and guys are getting hurt a lot in football, right? And Bart always talks about how guys are not tackling anymore in practice and how they don't get to build up a callus, right? Like you've gone X amount of months, 3-4 months without getting hit. And now shock to the system, like some guy you're running through the 5-hole and a guy decks you and you don't know how to take it.
Mm-hmm.
There's something too, I believe, and even Josh kind of alluded to it. He was kind of half joking, but I think there was some truth to it too.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh is like, yeah, thank God Tips played me all those minutes because now I'm ready for it. There's something too building up a callus, man, and playing minutes. And when you're not playing minutes, and now the playoffs, right, where the best players are gonna play big minutes, like that's unavoidable, bro. In the playoffs, you play your best guys. What does Pat Riley always say? Play 8. I forget what he says. Play 8, rotate 8, play 7, trust 6, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Riley says.
Mm-hmm.
So your starters are gonna play a lot of minutes, 35 minutes and up at least, right? And maybe they didn't play that in the regular season. Like that does something, I believe, to guys.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, with that being said, like I said, the injuries have narrowed it down. Just like last year, I kind of I wasn't trying to take anything from the Celtics, but I was, I'm like, who did they really play that really challenged them last year? You know what I'm saying? They played the Magic first round. Then who did they play second round? Who did they play? Somebody.
No, they didn't play the Magic.
Was
because
it?
Cleveland
That was this year. That was
lost to the Magic.
that
Well,
was
no,
this
you
year.
might be
Miami
right.
and Cleveland.
Say that again.
They played Miami, Cleveland, then Indiana. And they
Yeah,
lost.
Miami then Cleveland. That's right. That's right. They played Miami then Cleveland because I remember Donovan Mitchell was hurt that series,
and
and they
Jimmy Butler was hurt in the Miami
and
series.
Jimmy Butler was hurt in the Miami series.
Yep.
So every one that they played, even if they would have ended up playing us, was hurt. Like they didn't get to see anyone at full strength. So that's why when people always ask me like, yo, you don't give the Celtics credit for the championship, it's like they didn't answer any of the questions that I had for them. They won in the situation that they were in because a lot of the guys didn't have their best players there, that they, just you didn't have them there. Even Halliburton ended up getting hurt in the Indiana series.
Yeah,
So every team's best player that you played in the playoffs last year, in the Eastern Conference at least, got hurt. So, when were you really tested? Because like I said, it's the mental thing that I've always questioned with the Celtics. When were you tested last year? And that's kind of why it felt weird to see them as the champions. Yeah, they took a lot of shots. They're very talented, but they were not challenged. I never saw them get
even
challenged.
Luka was playing hurt. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, and Luka was playing hurt. And they barely didn't he miss? Did he miss a game?
he
No,
might have maybe, but I know he was.
Fouled
I
out
know
of
he
a game.
wasn't. I know he wasn't right.
he fouled out of a game.
He fouled out in game 3.
Oh, okay.
Kyrie was definitely burnt out by the finals, though. His production in the finals was
It
was
wasn't
really
great.
lean.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So that's kind of what I was alluding to, and now to be able to get this opportunity, we don't have anyone, thank God, on the injury report right now. Let's keep it that way.
I'm just gonna word real quick.
Yeah, let's knock on wood and everything. I'm gonna go through the whole house by the time the night's over. So, we definitely have an opportunity now to go to the finals. You know what I'm saying? But we have to get through Indiana. What
Scary team, bro.
scary? It's just scary, especially when they get rolling. But I think like I mentioned, we built ourselves to beat the Celtics. I wonder how a team that's built to beat the Celtics, and also a team that has the mental strength and fortitude to make it through the kind of series that we have already fought through. How well do we do in that series? We already saw what we were able to do last year when guys were sort of healthy in that series. It wasn't until OG goes down with the hamstring, and then you got Josh with the abdominal, and then Jalen was dealing with his hand or his wrist or something like that. Mitch was out. Like they did not see anything close to this kind of team that they're gonna have to see next round. So I'll start with you, Rick. What are your predictions for this series when we beat the Boston Celtics with Indiana?
I don't want to say that. I don't even want to talk about Indiana too much, bro.
Yeah,
I need to get this fourth win.
You want to finish this one out? I know.
I don't want to put no bad juju on it, Cap.
I know. I'm just talking. Listen,
I'm not comfortable, bro.
I get it. Listen, you can opt not to say anything.
I'm sitting this one out, bro.
You sit it out. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not gonna force you to.
If something crazy happens, I'm blaming you. Just so
No. Honestly, I'm just doing what the rest of media has done already because they're already counting the Celtics out and they're talking about us versus Indiana.
Bro,
so
if something crazy happened, I'm not texting you either. I'm doing something I never do, bro. I'm calling you.
All right, so we'll start with you, Joe.
Nah, start with me, bro.
Okay, all right.
The Knicks in 5. That's my prediction. Knicks in 5
after this series, right?
Not after this series. This series, Knicks in 5.
That's
bro.
what I'm saying for this series.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know nothing about Indiana, bro. I'm not going there.
Okay. Hypothetically, Rick. Let's speak hypothetically.
Okay.
In the generation, in I said generation. In Galaxy Z, Z1 72 in the Knicks series versus the Indiana Pacers, who would you have winning that series? And in how many games?
Okay. So I actually sent you a clip earlier today about this very same scenario. And my take is this. Last year, we went 7 games with them. And we had 3 injured main guys on our team, 4. And we went 7 games. And oh man, I wish I put this. I wish I said this to you guys, but before the Celtics game series started, I said, you know what? It would be great to play Indiana because now all our guys are healthy, and we can actually match up with them the way I wanted them to the previous season because of all the talk that was going on back and forth. So now that it's looking like we're about to close this series off with the Celtics, it looks like, yes, we are going to play Indiana. So was the question how many games we win in that series if we play it? I would say 6. We win in 6. Okay. I feel like there will be an adjustment game where we lose, and then there will be a game where, you know, the refs just screw everything up the way they do just to get viewership and to sell more tickets to games, and we will eventually pull it off in 6. That's my prediction.
Okay, Lee, talk to me. How you feeling about that, man? Does this topic scare you? Like it does?
No, it doesn't scare me at all. I got full confidence that we're going to close it out with Boston. Not confident 5, but probably 6. I don't want to disrespect the champs, even when Jason Tatum out. Jaylen Brown is still Finals MVP. They still have a great squad. They have a great coach, even though he's been out coached by Tibbs. But I got Indiana getting beat by the Knicks in 5 games. We were up 2-0, if I remember correctly, last series before the rash of injuries. And by the time Game 7 came, we had 6 guys that were injured at that point. Some of them were still playing. Like Hart was trying to tough it out. Brunson got injured Game 7 and broke the hand. I think that we take them out in 5 because we have so much insider intel. Jalen Brunson's played for Rick Carlisle. He knows most of his offensive sets. Rick Carlisle is a very smart offensive coach, one of the best in the NBA. We also have Casey Smith this year, who we did not have last year. And much has been said, rightfully so, about Casey Smith's ability to keep our 5 guys as healthy as they have been, healthy as starting 5 all season. But all the reporting from Tim McMahon and the Wonder Boy book that he wrote about Luka Doncic, which I recently finished, talked a lot about how Casey Smith was basically a coach not on the bench. But that Casey Smith knew so much about X's and O's. Anytime there was a playoff series, he was a part of the brain trust that Carlisle had to talk about breaking down the opposing team.
Interesting.
He would give a lot of strategy and input on schemes. And Carlisle said he could be a head coach if he wanted to, but his heart was in health and conditioning. I think he was with Carlisle the entire run. Carlisle's entire run in Dallas, Casey Smith was there as a head athletic trainer. So he knows that entire playbook. And I think one of the things, there's one play that Carlisle ran to perfection in Dallas, and it involved Luka Doncic when he would be sharing the court with Brunson. Luka would be off ball, and he would be used in this flare slip screen where he would get into the middle of the lane, and that's where he would operate as a playmaker. Luka would do. He would initially off ball, then he would catch it in the middle, and he would have the whole floor to look at and find where is the best option, highest percentage shot. Indiana runs out a lot with Pascal Siakam. We've seen that specific play, a Dallas play from Carlisle utilized against the Cavs to great success because Siakam at his size is very difficult to guard as a playmaker. I want New York to force him to be a scorer. Don't let him get into his playmaking bag because that specific set, and there's many of them, and there's many variations of that set, but Siakam as a playmaker is very dangerous. And I think between Casey Smith and Jalen Brunson and Mitch, Karl-Anthony Towns, hopefully, OG and Bridges, we can contain that as best as possible to make sure that doesn't become the X factor that extends this series to 6 or 7. But even if that set is utilized to full potential, I don't see us losing this series, even in 7 games, if we're fully healthy, knock on wood. That, to me, someone in the panel said it earlier, so much about who wins the finals is who stays the healthiest by the end.
Facts.
Casey Smith, again, bringing him up again, has been instrumental in the
Real
Knicks
MVP.
starting five. He's the best compliment to Tibbs. Tibbs does not play the starters a whole bunch. You better have the best medical staff mind in the game to ensure, preventative care to make sure if those muscles don't strain. So, yeah, I have a very optimistic out the window view. I'm going to say Knicks in 5.
Nice.
It's funny that you mentioned Casey Smith because I was actually reading something about him as well and how his relationship with Luka Doncic was very, very strong. Like they were really, really, really tight. And when they got rid of him, I forgot when was it, a couple years ago?
No, it was this past summer. This has
It
been
was
our
this,
first
it was
year.
this past summer.
He got
Okay, it was this
fired
past summer.
while he was tending to his mom who was dying.
Right. And that
Wait a
pissed Luka
second.
Doncic.
Hold on. Say what?
Nito Harrison fired Casey Smith through text message while Casey Smith was on a leave of absence caring for his mother who was dying in the hospital. Reported by Tim McMahon in the book The Wonder Boy.
My goodness.
Yo, this guy finds new ways to be hated. Jeez.
And then he gets the first round pick.
Yeah.
More reason to get hated.
My goodness.
He's a bum. I live in Dallas. I'm a Knicks fan. My dad's from New York, so I'm first generation Texan. But I grew up in Dallas, so I know people in the organization. I hear a lot. I'm also a writer and journalist, so I got sources. I'm not a reporter. I'm just a journalist. But yeah, I've heard stuff about Nito Harrison and the way that he handles the organization.
It's not
good.
good stuff. It's not good stuff that we hear. It's not good stuff that we hear, man. And
It's straight. The Knicks are a place where people want to come to feel love. We used to be like that back in the Isaiah Thomas, Phil Jackson era. We used to be the organization that didn't treat people right, and that's one of the reasons no one wanted to come here was a perception from a top down of incompetence and a lack of empathy. Now we're one of the best in the business at that.
And like you said, the health. Look at OG. Everyone was worried about the health of OG, especially the moment that we signed him for that deal. And we knew that he had the hamstring injury. Everybody's like, listen, yo, we signed him for this money. This guy's not going to stay healthy. And this is, have we seen, knock on more wood, but up until this point, have we seen anything like we've seen this year with OG Anunoby in his health? Like it's been by far his most healthy year
Not even close.
of his career, especially when he's been a rotation player. And it's just to be able to have somebody like that in your staff, and then you look around and it's like, hold on, these guys playing 40 minutes here, 40 minutes there, and these guys are healthy as hell. Like, what the hell is going on here? And there's got to be something to it. Like Tibbs, people don't really understand. Like he knows what he's good at and what he's not good at, and he knows how to surround himself with the people who are good at the things that he's not good at. He's done it ever since. He's
like Rick Brunson tapping him on the shoulder, like, "Yo, bro, you want to get these guys? Want to get these guys out of there, coach?
I was saying the same thing, bro.
It's because what did I just say? Tibbs is not good at that. For some reason, he just is like, these guys will be fine. And to me, it scares the shit out of me. Especially last night, I'm watching a game. It's like a minute left. We're up, and I'm like, we just saw what happened to Tatum. I'm kind of like scared right now. Dude, just pull these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take them off the court. And he's like, nah.
Yeah, finish it out.
To the end again, finish it out. You know what I'm saying? Because and sometimes it's the better choice. Sometimes it is the better choice. Just like we say off the numbers. It's just the better choice to have those guys on the floor. But it's scary, especially in the moments when like, all right, the game is, if it's a regular season, I'm a little bit more upset at that. But the fact that it's the playoffs and we knew that we needed to finish that game out strong, I'm fine with that. So,
did you see when OG grabbed his the back of his leg? He went out, he came back, and then he played the game like nothing ever happened. They asked him after the game, we saw you grab your thing. Are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine.
That's cool.
He was like, yeah, it just felt a little funny. That was all.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm like, what did they do to him?
Bro, I'm telling you right now.
And can I get some?
For that, yeah. 37 at this point. I need everything y'all got. Just pass me the ball.
I slipped on some steps in my backyard on Tuesday. My knee swole up for like 2 days straight now. I'm still walking with a limp. And I didn't even fall. I slipped. Yo,
He didn't even
I
fall,
don't.
he just slipped. Yeah,
I didn't even
and
fall.
that's the thing about it is, I got to give OG credit, because he steps up.
Yeah,
The like you mentioned it last night, Joe. The amount of plays that he had on both sides of the floor to end that game is just absolutely ridiculous. Play after play after play after play.
Guys everywhere.
He's
Yeah.
everywhere. He's everywhere. He's guarding the best player. You never have to say, "Yo, OG, man, like you could have did a little bit better on defense on that play."
Never.
Never,
Yeah.
never once I ever said you could have done better than that on
But
defense.
sometimes I have.
Of course,
Early in
of
early in
course you have, Joe.
yeah, nah, early in the season, his defense was kind of like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you
I
kind of
mean, I think he was frustrated at some point early in the season. I think that was showing through his play.
I
Is
agree with that too.
frustration and what was going on. Something was going on behind the scenes, and they're really, really good at keeping it tight knit, keeping it in the locker room. But something was definitely going on, and you could see it all over his face. It was his body language. And then they had a certain run that they went through, and it's kind of like they figured it out and they banded together. You know what I mean? But I do know what you're talking about. There might have been a play or two there. I'm like, that's uncharacteristic of you, OG. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Apollo,
Yeah.
one of the things I've really liked, I noticed this in the playoffs more so in the regular season, but once I started seeing the playoffs, it reminded me how often I saw it since Casey Smith came on board this past summer. When any player has any type of ticky-tack, nagging injury or something, they don't have a locker room. They don't
Right.
sit on the bench and get nursing from a massage or a gun or something.
Yeah.
They go to the locker room. We can't see what's going on. It's behind closed doors. We have no
Yeah.
idea what they're doing. There
Right.
seems to be a real emphasis on if it depending on what it is, each player is different. If you feel this area, that area, come back here and we know exactly what to do. We'd had a medical game plan to get you back in the game and ensure it won't, that tear or whatever it is, won't get worse or it won't turn into a tear, a strain to a tear, whatever.
Right.
I've noticed that Brunson, for one game, he went back like twice and came back and he finished. He hasn't missed a game, hasn't had his minutes reduced. There's something to that going back there and being with the medical staff that, they're working magic behind the closed doors.
Yeah.
Right.
Great observation.
Yeah, and KC Smith, I'm sure, is behind 99% of what's going on back there too. So I'm glad to have him on the roster, and hopefully he's here for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I got Thunder Nuggets on in the background here. So you gotta excuse my facial expressions sometimes. These dudes hooping, y'all.
What's this? I know that it's 2-2. What is the score right now?
It's 103-100 Denver. 2 minutes left.
Wow.
Listen, if we have to see somebody in the finals, I'd rather see Denver.
Shea just got an N1.
Oh, okay. So, all right. My prediction: I'm going Knicks in 5. I'm going Knicks in 5 strictly because we are not just the Jalen Brunson show anymore. I think now it's kind of like this is always going to be the Jalen Brunson show, but like he has a team now. Like he kind of has guys that he can rely on in these situations, especially going back to last year. We didn't even have a big we could rely on. Who was our big last year? Isaiah Hartenstein. Now he's a good big. He's a definitely serviceable big, and I was sad when we lost him, but he's not Cat. You know what I'm saying? Like he's definitely not Cat. He's a complete difference in that. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
bro.
Joker just gone to 3.
Yeah.
The game. This is unbelievable.
Crazy,
That's
why I'm like, excuse my facial expressions, but these boys, the shot making right now is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, let's
wrap. We gotta wrap now because now I gotta see how much time is left.
I gotta see. I gotta catch. Man. I gotta
catch. 118 left.
It's 118 left. All right, so I'll play it in the background.
Yeah, J Dub just hit a 3.
Oh my gosh, this what a series. All right,
it's
so
106-103 Thunder.
Let's wrap this up. So, like I said, Knicks in 5 because I have Halliburton hasn't really been defended by this team. You know what I'm saying? in this playoffs. Like anyone near OG and Macau, that level, and the pestiness of Josh. And then you got Deuce coming off the bench. I think Hallie is really, and if you remember last year, we didn't lose because Hallie was killing us. It was the team.
It was the others.
the others that really came in and stepped up. And if you're watching it right now, Hallie is really putting a hurting on the Cavs himself. And I don't think he's gonna have games like that.
Yo, I hate that. One thing we didn't touch on is Jalen Brunson's one-on-one defense in this series.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Solid.
It's just
my
been
God.
very
Improve.
underrated. Nobody talking about it.
God.
It's a
Oh
key
my
to the
God.
switch. Everyone can hold their own, man.
Yo,
Yeah.
listen, tell me about what kind of confidence it gives a guy like Jalen Brunson, who is known to not be. You see the jokes that he and Josh Hart have on the show and press conferences, all of that, about how we defend, and then they giggle when they talk about Jalen Brunson. For a guy who gets giggled at when they talk about defense, for him to be able to have the defensive plays he has had on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in this series that are game-defining plays, what does that do for a guy like his confidence? Like, what does that do for him? You know what I'm saying? Like, Jalen Brunson, for me, has always been undersized.
It's never going to change.
He's small. He's a small guy. The plus minus shows that. It's not that he's just out there. All right, Joe. You know what? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's go, man.
I think OKC is saying the same thing. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here, man. I mean, I'm just, oh my gosh, up by 6. Okay, so yeah.
So one mistake, right, that I think that teams are making when it comes to Jalen Brunson is, I think Jalen's weakness is when guys try to go around him, right? Like, he doesn't have the greatest lateral movement, and when he loses a little bit of ground, he doesn't have the length to make up for it. The Celtics are trying to like go through him. That's bad strategy. He's strong.
Right.
Stop trying to go through a cone that's sitting on top of cement.
He's cemented into the ground.
Yeah. Like, I see Tatum do it. I've seen Jaylen Brown do it, where they're trying to like post him up and go through him. And I'm like, go around him, not through him. Like, through is not the way, yo.
No, he's strong. He's strong as hell. I don't know. I think there's something to the defense we can play on this team that I don't think they've been able to see. But Knicks in 5. I got Knicks in 5. That's pretty much all I can say. Let's finish. I got Knicks in 5 for this series and next series. You know what I mean? Let's finish it out. Jason Tatum, kudos to what you have brought to this series. I like I said, I didn't like the fact that we had to go out like this, that he had to go out like this. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Nobody felt bad for us last year when our guys was hurt. So you know what I'm saying?
They had Superman commercials with him being Superman, and I just feel like it's a bad. I'm not superstitious, but like you call a guy Superman and then he goes out, you know?
I said it. I tweeted. I'm like, this guy just had Superman commercials. Like, what is going on? Like, it's the same thing like what they had the game cover. What was it? The Madden curse? Like, every time you put a guy on Madden and he get hurt.
On the cover.
Yeah, he gets hurt. It was similar to that. And it was kind of like, Lord, like, why would you do that? And it's, sometimes these guys got to make their buck, and you are the person that is on screen. We got this. I can't believe we have this the way we have it after not beating these guys once all year. Hopefully we're playing one of the teams that's on TV right now. And we'll be talking about in 1 year after making the trade the day before training camp. We ended up in the finals, but one game at a time. Let's finish this Boston series. Let's finish it in Boston. Like, I would love to finish it. I would love to finish it at home. You know what I'm saying? If it happens that way, I want to see the confetti in the garden. I want to see that energy in the garden, winning a series in the garden. I see the fans outside the garden all the time. I want to see the guys, like the fans in the garden, cheering for the guys as they finish the series. I haven't gotten to see that.
Well,
So
I didn't want to see it in this series.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to see it in this
I was
series.
gonna say the
That's
same
what I mean.
thing.
Like
Yeah,
any other
next
time,
series.
I'm
Yeah.
cool with it. But let's Knicks in 5. Let's get out of here. With our health, with our heads held high. And don't let them get any confidence in this game. They're gonna fight for Jason Tatum. Teams do that. But at the end of the day, we're built mentally for this shit, as Mikal always says. But that's pretty much all I got. You guys got any last words for this for us tonight?
7 down, 9 to go.
9 to go. 9 to go, man. We need 9 more wins. Wolves versus Knicks. I would love to see that. What a finals that would be after making that trade.
Yeah.
Oh,
Talk
my
about
God.
full circle.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Wolves Knicks finals after trading Cat and Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle would be insane. That would be probably the best final story.
I can't.
That's better than the Cavs and the Warriors. I'm sorry, because there was no story behind that. It was just LeBron and Steph. There's a story, a true story behind the Wolves and Knicks, and I think that would be like, like Nice said, the trade debate would be over right after that. Whoever wins, and that one.
Oh, it's definitely time to go now, Cat, because you sound you underwater now, brother.
I am. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let's do that. Thank y'all for coming out. Appreciate you, Lee, for coming out and blessing us with your presence. Tell the people where they can find you, man.
Appreciate y'all. It was actually a high-level basketball conversation. Really enjoyed myself. Everyone knows hoops. Everyone, more importantly, loves hoops and loves its Knicks team. We all have our different reasons for rooting for them. And I always, now with the internet, I've been in Dallas my whole life. So with the internet, I found out to really connect with other Knicks fans. And even just empathize with the misery.
Cat, what we sound like right now, bro? Did he not sound like me?
Yeah. Yes.
I love it.
None of my friends are Knicks fans, dude. None of them. They're all like Bulls fans or like Lakers fans.
Based?
My cousin, who's
Jersey.
like
Jersey.
He's a Trailblazers fan. Like, how did that happen? So the internet, bro. Like, I mean, I met Cap through one of my good friends who's a Bulls fan.
Right.
So
who I met on the internet.
Yeah. So yeah, man. That I definitely have been able. Same thing, bro. I've connected with a lot of Knicks fans through the internet, man, and it's given me a community that I didn't have before.
That's same. Yeah, it's just been me and my pops our whole life, so it's been great to expand that and be on the KOT show and link up with Apollo, and then be able to guest spot on other shows. It's always a joy meeting new fans and understanding and figuring out how they became a fan and why the Knicks mean so much for them. I dropped a link to my newest article for The Guardian. I covered the draft last night and wrote about the Mavs winning and how it definitely inspired a bunch of conspiracy theories to the Mavs. I dropped that in the chat. Y'all enjoy that. Find me on Twitter at _Lee Escobedo.
Thank you for coming out, my guy. Amazing, awesome conversation. Great insight as always. You know what I'm saying? Great takes. Thank you for coming through. Cuzzo, Ricky, Joe. I will see you guys. I will talk to you guys as we talk every day.
Orange and blue skies.
Orange and blue skies, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, shout out to the chat. Please hit that like button. And ring that bell so you're notified when we go live, y'all. Y'all have a good one, man. Until next time. Peace. Pass the mic to a killer, he get the slaying. I'm Kakarot, all of my bros is Super Saiyan. We stacking blocks, protect the basket, you in the playing. We at the Mecca, hit the game winning shot like I'm Jalen. Manifesting energies, praying for my enemies. Taking vacays in the keys, working on our synergy. Changing up my wardrobe, never my identity. Smoke until I gotta